Kamala Harris gave her first sit-down interview since she became the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee after failing to give specifics about what Harris would do on her first day in office. CNN's Dana Bash asked again.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit.
Bash pointed out that some Americans feel life was better under Donald Trump.
One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost.
You have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%.
However, inflation was about 1.6% when Donald Trump left office, and under Biden-Harris spiked to 9% in June of 2022. She was called out for her flip-flopping on fracking and her reputation of changing on issues over time.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
And when it came to the vice president's support of Israel,
October 7, 1,200 people were massacred. Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed.
Kamala Harris also voiced her support for a two-state solution. Vice presidential running mate Tim Walz also took part in the interview.
I want to ask you a question about how you've described your service in the National Guard. You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years.
The governor gave a long-winded answer, but didn't really address whether he misspoke when he inaccurately described his military record. When pressed on the issue, Walz did go on to suggest that his grammar is not always correct.
Thank you. Michelle Obama, she stood before the DNC. She decried Donald Trump, how he would take away in vitro fertilization from Americans seeking to have children. You just heard the former president, Tulsi Gabbard, discuss his support for it. Why do they keep pushing the false narrative?
Because all they know is the lie. They don't really care about honesty or the truth or integrity. They're going to say whatever they believe is going to instill fear in the American people and turn them away from Donald Trump. Now, I just want to be clear. I'm not a fan of IVF. I don't think pro-life folks should be a fan of IVF. That involves creating fetuses that ultimately get thrown away, and that's trashing of human life. But that's just not Donald Trump's position, unfortunately.
Okay, now the Kamala Harris with Tim Walz interview that took place on CNN last night, Dana Bash wasted no time in addressing the border crisis. Here it is.
Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
Well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region. The number of immigrants coming from that region.
Okay, Mark, Harris says her trips to Central America to discover root causes for mass illegal immigration reduced numbers, created jobs for people there. What do the numbers actually tell us?
Yeah, the numbers tell us that this administration has been an absolute disaster at the border. By the way, we have seen crossings down in recent months, but that seems to be because of a deal with the Mexican government and possibly other Central American governments just wanting to make the Biden administration not look so bad, because they know in the long run, this is an administration with an ideology which intends to overflow America with illegal immigrants.
Okay, even with the big debut interview last night, Kamala Harris still had time to post this. If Donald Trump wins, he will not only sign an abortion ban, he will also intend to create a national anti-abortion coordinator, forcing states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions. Mark, I want to get your reaction to those claims by the Democrat. I've never heard the former president say that.
Again, they traffic in lies because they have nothing else. He's never said that. I mean, he is a very pro-life president, so I like that. I think it's very clear right now the president has no ability to sign a national abortion ban. That's been returned to the states. The idea of a national anti-abortion coordinator, I like it, but I've not heard the former president talk about it.
Okay, Axios is now reporting that Donald Trump's lawyers are asking a federal court to seize the New York hush money case from the New York State as he seeks to overturn that conviction. They're arguing for the need to move the case to an unbiased forum free from local hostilities. Mark, did he face an unfair trial there?
I mean, he absolutely faced an unfair trial there. We know that the jury pool was tainted against him inherently and tainted against him by all the news. It's time that turned into a fair venue.
Okay, Mark Meckler, thank you so much. Come back to you in just a moment.